Hello, hello, and welcome to another book review day. As I try to make book reviews often as quickly as I can read the book. My name is Brandon Wheeler. I have straw in my mouth because I had like heat stroke or something happened to me in the army. Can't talk right unless I'm biting down on something. That's why I'm found by and so moving on. Okay, um, I got this for Christmas. I asked for it and I got it. But I've been reading a lot of, not reading a lot of C.S. Lewis as far as reading about C.S. Lewis. I've read, of course, I read the first Narnia book, Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. Haven't read the rest of the series yet. Need to, one of these days, because I'd like to figure out the rest of it. I've read Mere Christianity, and Mere Christianity made me realize if I want to read something that made me feel like I was a know-it-all or something, just read that and I'd feel like a complete idiot because just the language and stuff, just like, yeah, there's no way I can match this. Because you compare that from like, oh, it's a kid book and everything, and then actually how he just uses words and everything like that, just like, yeah, I'm an idiot. I've read The Narnian, which is kind of like a biographical subject on Lewis, written from an author from Jacobs, talking about how I have these books aside, that's why I'm looking, talking about who C.S. Lewis was and everything like that. Well, we have another book, Surprise by Joy. This is the book I ordered. It is about his turning from, basically how he grew up as a kid, from, kind of having a thing about God from his mother and everything, and then kind of growing up away from a lot of that, becoming basically, you could say, full on atheist, full on atheist, to how he started to think about, theism, as he put it again, and then rediscovering the joy of, of God and Jesus and Christianity and everything, because he's like, okay, maybe there's something about this and Hinduism and stuff like that, and all this different spirituality. But he could tell the difference between myths and legend and all that from all his studies about, um, all his studies on, like mythological things and everything like that, from all his studying and everything he did. Here's, oh gosh, his he had several atheist teachers and even hardcore atheist people. Like stuff they said about, the dying God and things about Jesus and everything. It's like it'd be so hard to try to disprove it if it didn't seem so real. And that's what kind of drove him to some ways. And him talking to people like Tolkien, among a few others. He doesn't really get into much of that. This, but he, describes of just as almost, I want to say almost hedonistic thought process and everything, and how he wasn't even vocal with it. He's just kind of hidden with a lot of things and stuff. But the joy of kind of, it's like when he was a kid, reading all these different epics and everything about Christianity and stuff, joy and stuff from that type thing. Even then, I still don't understand what the fullness of his joy, exactly what he was talking about. I again, when you read something like this, I just feel like I am an idiot. It's like so many words are just like, I mean, goodness, like things he's just talking about all in this thing. There's so many big words and just like how what what, just the mastery of language, intellectual stuff, and everything. It's just like wow. Oh yeah, I also have the Great Divorce book. I forgot about that. I can't forget about that. I mean, I made a picture on that and everything. It's just so much. It's just I'm just more impressed with language from author wise, because I am an idiot compared to that. I can't do that. But it's just the shape of his early life, like what he puts all the. He doesn't really get into different family things and stuff, except um, most biographical with his book about trying to talk about things with his father, relationship with him, how things were, relationship with all the different teachers he had, and how he hated one school thing he did with their thing like sports, and you have to be at the right things and everything like that. How he just hated all that. How he wanted really intellectual stimulus because he's terrible at sports and he did not like it at all. And just the expectation that you have to be part of the sports, and he's like, no. But even writers that he greatly admired, how they kept talking about, how Christianity was the thing that kind of inspired their writings and everything, like fantasies and different stuff like that. He was just kind of saying, like, how can I deny these things that affect me so much and I love them? And but why are they Christian? Why can't there be something else? He tried his best to stay away from, Christianity and Jesus and everything, because like you said, he's like the most reluctant convert that could ever be. But fortunately, we have him, and that's good. And it's like the conversion thing is like all this stuff leading up to almost things of like, almost you could say it's like nowhere, where he's just rambling about his life and things that you don't think make sense to it. It's like, why is this important, Mr. Lewis? Why are you telling us all this? And then the actual thing of him talking about it is just like shorter in comparison, but from his view, he keeps the things that he thinks are important to talk about versus the things he doesn't think are important to talk about. And it's just a lot to talk about. I mean, at least in this version of the book. I don't know how many pages it is to you, but it's like 270 pages in this. So, but it again just gives me an in-depth mind, at least to how Lewis was in this portion of his life. I think he wrote this in the 1930s. This was an earlier book. Like, it technically comes before Mere Christianity. I think in the time of when he did everything. Because I remember in the Narnian book, I discovered, when his future wife was named Joy, some guys, edged him and was like, "Oh, you're surprised by Joy, huh?" He's like, "Shut up." And so I think this was the 1930s or whatever, because before he started doing it's before Mere Christianity, because Mere Christianity was during World War II when he started giving a lot of radio broadcasts and everything, and that is a collection of those different speeches and everything he made. So the turn from one guy who's complete atheistic, well, not even atheistic, spiritualistic, because like according to the Narnia and everything, if you put these pieces all together, you're getting really into some occultish kind of stuff. Like you think of I bring this up, the Call of Cthulhu thing and stuff, the Lovecraftian things but the spiritualism and everything of the day, he was looking into stuff like that. He was. It doesn't really get into this book as much. There's more detail about that in the Narnia. He didn't really focus on that. It's just more focusing on the things that were shaping him, what he was drawn to book-wise and reading of like the Norse legends and all things like that, Animal Land and things he came up with as a kind of precursor to Narnia. But it's just kind of like, so a semi-biographical or biographical thing from his view. Again, it's a tough read when you're trying to get into all the, things of words. Random page. Beginning to be in a variety finer than moral sleuthhounds conceive, I was intentioned, concealing only a part. I accepted his principles at once, made no attempt internally to defend my own unexamined life. But the boar first entered the society of courteous people. What can he do for a while except imitate the emotions? How can he learn except by imitation? You have divined that ours was a very nice battalion, a minority of good regulars using for pleasantly mixed population to promote rankers, West Country farmers' deeds. Firsters and university men. You could get good talk about us anywhere. Perhaps the best of all was our butt, Wally. Wally was a farmer. Roman got. It's just all these different things. And I'm just looking at, like, here we go. Here's the sentence. To pessimism or cowardice which prefer non-existent itself to even the mildest unhappiness was thus merely the generalization of all these pusillanimous preferences. It's just like, okay, you have a grasp of the English language and words and how all these different words mean and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, the cat goes over the moon. So again, if I ever want to think, oh yeah, I'm hot stuff, I'm a writer now, I wrote my own book, I'm an authored writer and stuff, I just look at Lewis and be like, yeah, I'm not. I am a big fat idiot, is what I am. Or compared to trying to touch Lewis or anything like that. And I'm starting to get into, starting to read this from Tolkien. Not as wordy and everything. It kind of follows like the Narnian. I already read Hobbit. Kind of follows like Narnian type light flavor, I'd say. But it's still just how it flows and everything. I guess I have to do a comparison, like read all Lord of the Rings and all the Narnia and do like a comparison, just literature-wise. Is that literature criticism or something? I'm not good at that at all. Anyway, have you read Surprised by Joy? Let me know if you have. If you haven't, let me know. So tell me your thoughts on it and everything. It's just, I need to reread Mere Christianity again. But as far as the next Lewis book, I know a lot of people talk about the Screw Tape Letters, which probably be the one thing in the future to read. Then again, I could read. I'm actually thinking about reading one of his science fiction books. He wrote science fiction, by the way. Uh, not as many. I know he's known mostly for Narnia and Screw Tape and Mere Christianity and everything, but I'm thinking about maybe reading his science fiction thing, see what that. He wrote a couple of different things. I don't know if they're connected, but he wrote a couple of different things. So I'm wondering what they could be about or whatever, or what they're like. Curious. Uh, all right. Well, anyway, I'll see you in the next review and talk to you later. Goodbye.